What's up, everybody? This is Roxy, your Firefly mom, and today we're going to talk about all things winter. I'm going to share with you my winter plans of how I'm going to bring winter into my homeschool this year. So if you are looking for some fun ideas to talk about cold climates, winter, frozen tundras, all things polar, please stay tuned to this video because I promise you it's going to be super exciting and fun. So stay tuned.
I lose my breath whenever I see you. You stole my heart, what is it that you do? My life was great till you added colors. Like the moon is...
Everybody, welcome to Firefly Mom. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you love these videos, if they bless you, please make sure to hit the subscribe button below. I would love for you to join me on my second year of homeschooling. I began this YouTube channel when I started on my amazing but crazy homeschool journey, and you guys have all followed me along in this great and amazing adventure we call homeschooling, and I'm just so excited to share with you all of what we do in our homeschool. I love this great homeschool community on YouTube. I have found it so helpful and beneficial for me to just get my homeschool off the ground and running, and I'm so grateful for all those homeschool mamas out there. But today's video is going to be amazing. I'm going to be sharing with you all my winter plans for this school year. Now, as you guys know, in previous videos, and I've talked about this, we do every single day of our homeschool, we do 1 hour of circle time. Now, I call it circle time. A lot of other people call it, other homeschoolers call it morning time basket, morning plan. You know, there's different terms for it, but we call it circle time here in our homeschool because when we began homeschooling, my youngest daughter was in kindergarten and she really loved the circle time that she experienced during school. So while she was in school. So I wanted to recreate that for us in our homeschool. And so we called it Homeschool Circle Time. And I love it because we talk about the calendar, we talk about the weather, we talk about all different kinds of things. Now, the way that I like to structure my circle time, my 1 hour, is through a loop schedule. Now, loop scheduling is a great way for you to be able to cram in a lot of subjects that you may not be able to get to during your regular homeschool day. And so that's what I use my 1 hour of morning time, circle time, in order to accomplish. And so what we do is we do a set of things every single day that is different. So what we do is we do every single day, we do a different theme for the day, and that's how I cover my subjects. So Mondays are our seasonal days. So we talk about all things seasonal, whatever kinds of like unit studies that I want to bring in that have to do with whatever season of time we are in the calendar year. That's what we do on Mondays. On Tuesdays, we do character training. So we have one virtue every single month that we focus on. This month, we are focusing on the virtue of patience. And I can do a separate video on how I teach virtues in my homeschool, but I really believe that it is truly important to not only teach kids arithmetic and learn and reading and writing, but it's important to teach them how to be good people, because at the end of the day, that's the great and amazing thing about homeschooling, that we can so pour into them things that they don't learn in regular school. So Tuesdays we do character training, Wednesdays we do music, Thursdays we do geography, and Fridays we do art. And so I love that I can squeeze in these great subjects through this loop schedule and have them as part of my homeschool. But today's video is going to focus mainly on our Mondays, which are our seasonal days. And so for seasonal days, we like to do unit studies. For example, last month we did a unit study on Christmas around the world. We did Santa's Tasty Treats, which we focused on different kinds of treats that are made around the world during Christmas time. So we like to incorporate unit studies and different things that have to do with whatever the season or the holiday that we are celebrating that month. And so what I like to do is I create this little circle time planner, and what it does is it kind of helps me stay on track. It helps me to brainstorm what it is that I want to do for that month and how I want our focus to be. And so I have it here divided into the different days that we do our circle time, and then I put in what it is that I want to focus on, what books I want to use, what kind of resources and unit studies I want to plug in. And I will do a separate video on this. I believe I've done a video on circle time. I will link it above so that you can check it out as well on how I structure my circle time, and I will do an updated video soon as well. But today I'm going to focus on my January circle time planner, where I will show you the kind of books that I'm going to be incorporating and the unit studies we're going to be focusing on. Now, last year during this time, we focused on the winter season. So we've just focused on basically what happens during winter. You know, where is the earth in respect to the sun, how the winter season works around the world. We kind of worked on just studying the winter season itself. We didn't really go into any further depth other than that. We talked about kind of clothes people wear. We kind of talked about how snow is made, and just different things about that. But we really didn't focus on anything further than that. This year, I wanted to expand on our winter studies this year and focus on the Arctic regions and on the frozen tundra and on the polar regions, which is where they experience winter pretty much all year round. And so that's what's going to be our focus. So in the month of January, we're going to be focusing on the frozen tundra and just cold climates, cold areas of our planet. And so with that, I'm going to be putting in a lot of resources that have to do with that. Now, in February, we're going to go a little bit deeper and focus on the continent of Antarctica. So first, we're studying the different types of habitats and biomes that have to do with the frozen tundra, and then we're going to focus on the specific continent that relates to the tundra and the Arctic regions. And so that is what we're going to be planning as an overall. We live in the state of Florida, where it's pretty much, you know, either warm or a little bit cooler. It's not really anything. We don't see a lot of seasons changing, but I still think it's important that we bring in, and it's definitely doable if you live in a tropical climate, to bring in the winter into our homeschool and learn about what happens in other parts of the world. Because I think it's important that even if your kids don't have snow, don't see the trees die and that whole process, that they still learn about what happens, because it's just great to learn more about our world, and you kind of take care of science all in one thing. So it's really awesome. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be talking about and learning about is, where is the tundra? So the resource I'm going to be using is by Firefly Nature Studies. And what I love about this curriculum is that it's really an open and go, in the sense that it gives you a lot of great ideas, a lot of great questions and things that you can ponder, and it kind of helps us to expand to other areas of interest. So what I decided to do was to use the Firefly Nature School Tundra Bundle, and it comes with several different lessons within it. It's kind of a frozen bundle, so it comes with where is the tundra, it comes with a cold climate, and various other different studies. And what I love about it is that it works for me as like a spine, and then I kind of expand on it. So when I'm creating a unit study that I'm going to do with seasonal, I like to incorporate 3 different things. I like to have some kind of a spine, something that I can go by that's just kind of what we're going to be following, like our model, and then expand from there. I use a lot of pay teacher resources, and I'll show you some of the resources I'm going to be using for it as well. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to first talk about the frozen tundra, where the frozen tundra is, what part of the world it is. The kids are going to map out where the frozen tundra is. So what I did is, the Firefly Nature School has a great world map. So they give you a world map that you would basically just color the polar region and label each of the continents, and it will show you how the frozen tundra is located in the northern part of the world and encompasses the continents of North America, Asia, and Europe. And so the kids were able to do that. Then we go into different parts of the frozen tundra. So what does the frozen tundra look like? What kind of plants grow there? How is the ground like? How is the soil like? What is the weather like in the frozen tundra? What are some of the things that you can see there? We kind of expand that even further and go into the northern lights. We can talk about the plants and animals that live there, the kinds of plants and animals that stay there throughout the entire time, and some that migrate away. And so we kind of focus over the 4 weeks of the month of January in that. Now, some of the books that I like to bring in that help me to expound on this frozen unit is a few really great resources, and I'm going to show you them. The first one is we are reading as our month read aloud Who Was Ernest Shackleton. Now, Ernest Shackleton was a man who was an explorer, and he was actually one of the first explorers to go to the continent of Antarctica. He was the first to discover the polar regions, and he has a really amazing story about how he got there. His ship actually got like stuck in an ice, like in the middle of ice. It's really, really cool story. And so we read a couple of chapters every week, and it's probably not going to take us the month. We're probably going to take a little longer to get through it, but this is a really awesome book to incorporate in your winter studies. The next book I recommend as well is Mr. Popper's Penguins. This is a great book and story about a man who works with these penguins and gets them to do some pretty fun things. And so I really love this story, and it's a great one. So this is going to be our read aloud for the month of February. Some other great winter books and resources are, I love Scholastic has great resources. This is a book on Antarctica, and it just goes through the different things about Antarctica. It talks about the people that live there. It talks about, what kind of adventures, what amazing animals live there. And what I love is that this helps to spark curiosity in other things. So what I've done is I've also, there's a website, I think it's called Hatching Curiosity. I'm going to link everything in the description box below so that you guys don't go crazy wondering and making lists. I'm going to link everything below for you guys. But I found these really cool on Etsy, these cards from Hatching Curiosity, and they're from Antarctica. I believe she has these little continent boxes that she uses, or continent packs. Well, I just got the Antarctica animal cards, and these are really great high gloss cards. I don't know if you could, I hope you could see them if they focus right. But they have great cards, and they just talk about what the animal, where they live, what type of animal is it, whether it's a carnivore, where they live. For example, the killer whale likes to play with their food and knock it off ice. Just fun facts about the animals. I also recommend that you get the tubes, and you can do a lot of fun things with the tube animals, they're the little plastic animals. They have Arctic polar animals that you can get, a set of them. And what I like to do is have that, as a strewing activity. I put these cards out and put the animals and have them match them, especially if they're younger. That could be a very good Montessori type of activity. So I love that. I also got some really cool, just different cards, different cards on the Arctic animals that live there. We're going to be focusing that on in the 4th week of January. So first I introduce the biome, the actual environment, and then we talk about what happens and the weather there and the cold climate. And I'm going to link everything as far as what I do and in the order that I do it. But then we go into the plants and animals. And I found these really cool Teachers Pay Teachers. I found some really cool resources as well. These are some of the birds that live in the Arctic region. These are really cool. I printed these out and laminated them. And what is great about these is you can also have your child's pick, or your students pick one bird, and they can study it. They can, maybe write a little essay or a little report on it and just learn more about it. Maybe they could do they can teach about that bird. So there's all kinds of things that you can do to bring in this winter study. Now, some of the great read alouds that I have for this unit are just wintry books. And I love also incorporating into my circle time, I like to do some winter read alouds. One of the fun ones that I like to do is a year full of stories. And I'm gonna put the picture up here. A year full of stories is a great resource. It gives you just different stories that have to do with that season of time in that month. And so I like to focus on the January and February stories. Another thing I like to do is do some read alouds for winter books. So here are some of my favorite winter books that I like to incorporate. Now this is called Be Brave Little Penguin, and this is a beautiful story about a little penguin who was very shy and scared, and how he gets to be a brave penguin. And it's a really cute story, has a wonderful like moral story to it, and beautiful illustrations, and you know, it just has to do with winter, and it has to do with Arctic animals. So I love it. Another great book that I like is Here Comes Jack Frost. This is another great book, just about Jack Frost and, you know, what he does and how he brings the winter and all that stuff. This is a great one. This one is called Winter Snow Fun. God Gives Us Friends When We're Ready for Adventures. And these are just like this is a different story about a skunk and a raccoon that can't wait for the first snowball of the season. And this is a really cute book that I read to them last year, and they actually want to hear it this year as well. Now, we don't get through all of these books throughout the 2 months of winter that we are kind of studying this, but these are ones that we've used in the past, so I figured I would share them. This one is called The Icelandic Winter's Tale, and this is just a tale about like the Icelandic region, like in Iceland. And I love it because it's from a different country, so it's kind of cool to learn like different stories from around the world. Another one that we love is Bugs and Bugsicles. This is a beautiful book about insects in the winter. And again, these are great because they can just spark more curiosity. Like, hey, I want to learn more about the bugs that live, you know, how the bugs prepare for winter. And you could kind of do a whole unit study on that. So this is what I love about these books, because if you're somebody that does child-led learning, these books would be great to have. Just, you know, a lot of times, even if I don't read them throughout my circle time hour, I just leave them on top of a table in my homeschool room, or in like a little library. If you have like a little book library or a little basket with books, I put that in there and have the kids just read them whenever they have free time, and it helps to spark their curiosity as well. This is a wonderful book that I love as well. Another one that I like is Goodbye Autumn, Hello Winter. Now this is a series. I believe I have the Goodbye Summer, Hello Autumn book. This is a great one. It just kind of talks about how the change of season, you know, once we leave autumn behind and the winter comes, kind of what happens. And this I like to read right after, like right around December time, when we're seeing these, like the signs of winter coming in. So I love that one. Another thing I like to do to incorporate winter is to have these learn to draw books. Now, learn to draw books are some of my favorite ways to mix art with what we're studying. And that's what I love about homeschooling, is that you can really mix things in and like cover 2 or 3 subjects at one time. So what I love this is called Learn How to Draw Polar Animals. And so one day when it's on our art class and we want to keep up with the theme, we'll just pick one of these polar animals, Arctic animals, and we'll learn how to draw them, and we'll do a little drawing class. And I also use this for like if somebody finishes their work early, or if we have some downtime in our homeschool, I like to incorporate this book. And there's tons of learn to draw books, and you can find them like for every theme, and I have a lot of different ones. Also, Draw Right Now has a great series that you can use for younger grades, that I don't know if I have that here with me, but Draw Right Now does have, I believe, like an Arctic polar kind of theme too, and that would be for younger grades, and it also includes copy work as well that you can incorporate with drawing. So that's another cool thing. This one is one that actually I got from a YouTube mom. I think it's Pennies and Salt, and she recommended this book called Snowballs, and it's a really cute book. It just talks about like the snow, and it talks about like different ways that the snowman like can be decorated, and you can even turn this also into a fun art project where they can create their own snowman based on the book. which I think is fun. It also has some facts about what snow is. So I love that one. Another one is, and this is like one of my kids' favorite books. It's called Sneezy the Snowman. This is like a huge favorite in our homeschool. We love Sneezy the Snowman. He's got a really funny story about like things that he does, you know, like to keep warm. And it's just a really fun book, like how he melts and then, you know, they make him again. And it's really cool. I love the Sneezy the Snowman book. It's awesome. Another book that I like is this one. This is more like for the Antarctica. It's called Explore the Continents, and it's a book just about, you know, where Antarctica is, different, you know, animals, like things that the animals do in Antarctica, what the Antarctic land looks like, you know, how it's divided, what kind of weather does, you know, how the animals kind of cope with the weather there. So this is another great one to kind of use, again, as a spine to just create a new unit study, which I love. This is another cool winter book. This is called The Hat, and it is kind of from that story, The Mitten. If you haven't heard of that story, this is kind of like part of that series, and it's just a story about this hat and what it does. I haven't actually read it, but I've heard it's really good, and I've read The Mitten, and my kids love that book, so I'm really excited to try this one. So this is another great book. Another one is Animals Hibernating. Now last year we did do, as part of our winter study, we did talk about hibernation. That's another unit study that you can create as well. This is a good book you could use for that. It's called Animals Hibernating. And this is about all different types of animals and how they prepare for winter, what they do to hibernate, you know, just all different kinds of great facts about what to do. It also has some fun little experiments that you could do to just learn more about the hibernation period of animals. So it's how animals survive in extreme conditions. So this is another great one we did last year. Now, oh, I did find it. This is the draw right now, and it's the Arctic and the Antarctic. And so this is for younger grades. And what I love is that it has copy work that you could do, which is great. I love copy work. It's one of my favorite ways for kids to learn sentence structure, proper spelling, proper grammar, is to do a lot of copy work. We do copy work every single day in our homeschool. And so this includes a really fun fact and also gives you the opportunity to draw whatever animal you're talking about in your copy work. And so these Draw Right Now series comes in all different kinds of themes. I highly recommend it. I also did a separate video one time on art and how to bring art and drawing into your homeschool. And so I will link that in the description box below or up here as well. But these Draw Right Now books are a great resource for that. I found this fun printable, and I think I found this on Teachers Pay Teachers. I will link it below. But this is a little project. It's how polar animals keep warm, and it has a little activity of just learning how they keep warm, what part of their body they use to help keep warm. This is also, I like to use Pam Barnhill. She also has some great morning time plans, and I will link her below as well. She has a cool seasonal morning time plans where you can kind of pick and choose from different themes as well. And she even has like schedules and everything that if you wanted to follow her schedule. But I kind of like do cafeteria with her. I pick and choose the ones that I want. One of the links that she had was some fun winter jokes. I like to do these like a little icebreakers. So we say like, what food do you get when you cross Frosty with a wolf? Burger. It's funny jokes. So I like to do this for fun, just to kind of like as a little icebreaker and kind of get us into like the wintry fun. These are some fun little jokes that you can look up. This is another fun book. It's called White Snow, Bright Snow. And that's just about this man who kind of goes through his day and what he does in the snow and stuff like that. So this is another cute book as well. What else? I don't know. So that is pretty much it. So also during our studies, what I like to do is just incorporate the winter. So we use some different craft activities. Like we like to use the craft and boogie is really a fun fun subscription package to use. They have a lot of seasonal activities and crafts that you could bring in. Rooted Childhood is another great resource that you could use to help bring in the seasons, and I will link all of that as well. But there's a lot of ways that you can use to do winter in your homeschool. Now, for another kinds of things that we like to do, we're going to do the polar pen pal letters from a native tribe that lives in the Arctic regions, and they write these really cool letters explaining like what life is like on the day-to-day there and all of that kind of stuff. And so that is another great resource as well. So for the Firefly Nature, the two ones that I use are the Let It Snow bundle and the Frozen bundle. I also use some Teacher Pay Teacher PowerPoint presentations. I love PowerPoint presentations. I feel like they bring the learning alive and help kids to like really visually see what you're talking about. And so I will link a couple PowerPoint presentations that I found from Teacher Pay Teachers that are really interactive and fun to bring into your homeschool as well. So that's pretty much it. That is all that I have for my winter plans. Hopefully this has been really helpful for you. And if you have any questions, or if you have any ideas of what you do to bring the winter and the Arctic and the frozenness of the season into your homeschool, let me know in the comments. I would love to get more ideas for next year, but I will then wrap this up today. Again, make sure that you follow me on Instagram at FirewifeLawyerMom911, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.
I just wanna love you, just wanna